Hey, it's Pete again. Just here to follow up a little bit on what we talked about the other day on the recycling in the Gallatin Valley and Gallatin County as a whole. There's been some questions that came in that I was just going to read to you, go over, see if I can help clarify the issue of recycling around here even more than I have already. So first off, can you clarify plastic bottles with examples of 1 and 2 that can be used and those that can't be used? In parentheses, clam shells, medicine containers, and yogurt. Yes, exclamation point, and maybe a very brief explanation of why these and other things they say 1 and 2 aren't recyclable. This really goes down to what I talked about in the video, the process of compacting the plastic down so tight and then pulling it apart in order to separate the different types of plastic. So when we break those bales apart, or when the facilities that are recycling these break the bales apart, the bottles, the picture it just would fall onto the floor. Like they're not clumping together and they're not sticking together. If you've got a clamshell in there, while it is recyclable, if it's you're recycling it in a city, it's going to stick to a bottle. It's going to stick to other things. You've got recycling coming by in a conveyor belt so fast that you have individuals grabbing things that are not just one individual piece, and they can't look at the little, circular thing to see if it's a 1, a 2, a 5. They just have to throw it away. It's not the easiest process to do that. So that's why these facilities that we send the cardboard, the plastic off to, are actually asking us to just send plastic bottles. The bottles are just 1 and 2. Hope that answers that one. Can magazines with glossy photos be recycled? What about frozen cardboard boxes with a glossy surface? So magazines can be recycled. It's not the best. The process I like to think about is picture taking paper and mashing it up, grinding it up, adding water to it, and turning it into a pulp, like a paste of sorts. And then they're going to take that and they're literally just going to lay it out and make new paper. It's a really neat process. If you've got a lot of color, a lot of gloss, maybe some plastic in that paper, it's actually going to have to be removed. So it makes the process way more difficult than just a regular sheet of paper. So it can be recycled. It's not the easiest to be recycled. If it does have plastic content to it, it's definitely good to not be recycled. 3, can Ziploc bags be recycled? No, they cannot. The biggest issue is when the process is happening with the plastic. All of these products are moving down a conveyor belt. These conveyor belts have gears. They've got lots of inner workings that get clogged up with films like saran wrap. Like I actually pointed in the video, there was a big piece of plastic sheeting that was in there. That it ruins these $1 million machines, unfortunately, or at least shuts them down for a long time. And then the plastic film from the grocery stores, they do recycle that, but they do it typically, it's just the actual clear plastic. If you've got other plastic bags that are going to the grocery store individually, every store has their own system. I'm not 100% certain exactly what they do with those. A lot of the national chains, I'm guessing, put them on trucks and ship them off to other recycling centers. We don't have a current process to work with that. Could you emphasize that metal cans shouldn't be put into plastic bags for recycling? Yes. Once again, in the video, when you look at that big pile, there's lots of bags in there. Picture a really nice guy with a family who shows up to work day after day after day, breaking it's recycling, but it's like garbage. Your garbage open and stuff flying all over him. It's really gross, people. Just take the stuff, clean it out as well as you can, and put it into the recycling bins so that it's a little nicer to work with. That'd be awesome. And then Christmas wrap. Yeah, a lot of people just want to throw that paper into the cardboard bins and paper bins. It doesn't work because it's got foil in it. It does have, like I was talking about before, it has a lot of plastic in it. I mean, there's some, like the tissue paper, like that's fine. But yeah, it's just not a good thing to recycle. A lot of times, if we send a bale of paper or cardboard off to a facility, to a plant, and they don't like the content, what's in it, a lot of times they have to throw it away. They can't, once again, break it all apart and take a look at it. It just ends up, not being used. And that's a lot of work because one person or, several people put some contaminants into that bale. So it's good for all of us to be responsible, even though we really think this could probably be recycled. But if it's a question, unfortunately, it has to be thrown away. Considering the carbon footprint of glass, does it make any sense to recycle it in Gallatin County? Now, I actually, in the video, I mentioned that it's a carbon negative thing to do. I should not have said that because I don't know. I've never actually done the research on this particular thing, but glass is a fairly easy thing to be made. It's made out of lime and soda, limestone and soda. And so we ship all this glass. Right now it all goes to Salt Lake City. They actually, we have to pay to have a truck driven all the way up here from Salt Lake and then drives all the way down. So it's empty on the way up here. It's a lot of diesel fuel, tires, just obviously there's a lot going on there that we're trying to avoid in the recycling industry. They ship it down there and then they crush the glass and they turn it back into glass again. But they're not dying for the product. Like, that's a pretty good indicator that it's not really that big of a demand. So yeah, we can recycle it, but it's just not the best thing to recycle in Gallatin County. What happens to the plastic water bottles we recycle in Gallatin County? So the plastic water bottles get baled up, we put them on a truck, and we ship them off to, there's several different facilities that have room to actually recycle the product at different times. That's where it ends up going. Or we live in the Gallatin Valley that a lot of people ship things here and they send trucks back empty because we don't produce as much as we consume here. And so we put them on trucks, and if they're going to an area close to a recycling facility in Washington, it might go there, or in Salt Lake, it might go there. Whatever ends up working out the best, because we don't want to bring trucks here just to ship recycling off for no reason. What might the city, business in general, and we, the public, do to make the recycler's job easier? So the city of Bozeman, it's actually Gallatin County that has the program that most people use, those big triple bins at different locations. And the cardboard as well. That is a contract that's actually worked out with Four Corners Recycling, and we end up working together to do a really good job. I don't have the exact statistics, but I believe we're the best in the state of Montana as far as the percentages that we actually get recycled. In general, it's really, really important that we, try to clean things out as well as we can. Obviously the wrapping paper, like I talked about earlier, for the most part, just continue to work on, obviously not putting your plastic bags in there with all of your cans and things of that nature. But as I've done so much in this video, I just need to continue to congratulate you guys for doing a really good job. And then let's see. What type of recycling containers should a school or church have best to recycle? Any suggestions as to placements of these containers? I think it's pretty straightforward. Cans are the best. You can recycle metal over and over and over and over and over again. So the aluminum cans are probably the best thing you can possibly do. Plastic, obviously it's got its issues, but it works in the current system that we have, as long as we're conscientious about it, and we're not, obviously recycling the wrong thing. And then, those two are kind of the same. You want to obviously stay away from styrofoam boxes, things of that nature. If you can bring in, compostable items to use. Like I know that my wife works at the co-op, and they have compostable bags that they put vegetables in. We actually did a little science project at my own home with my kids. We put it in we put it in a bowl of water and saw how long it would take to break down. It took about 2 days. It was pretty neat. And the placement of these bins, I would say, just as long as it's next to a trash can. What I see a lot of times is people end up, they'll put signage on a bin that doesn't really make sense. And I like to think of recycling in a way that even myself, I've got a can in my hand, and I'm going to hold on to that can for a length of time until I don't see something around to put it in. It eventually goes in the garbage, or I put it in my car and I have it with me until I get home. Most people don't have that diligence, unfortunately. It needs to be pretty immediate, like right next to a garbage can, or I'm not going to do it at all. So I would just say make sure that the signage is as clear as possible, and outside of that, next to garbage cans is the best way to go. That looks like everything we've got on here. You guys are amazing. We get to live in this beautiful area in the middle of Montana. I love it. And unfortunately, it does have its drawbacks with some of the recycling and other things along those lines. But please get outdoors. Enjoy the place we have. I actually am going to go skiing tomorrow. It's that time of year. I love it. And thanks for coming along for this ride.